Sorry, what? I was just checking the time. Which wrist do I use to... I have a lot of money. Those are my credentials as well as this assortment of items on my desk. I also have my 8th grade diploma downstairs. I promise it's there. I can't really get it to you. I could, but I don't want to because that's a walk. So I hope this assortment of items really speaks for itself. Since we're coming up on a year and a half, I don't feel like I need to be the one to inform you, but famous artist, one of the most influential of our generation, Young Thug, has recently been accused of committing some pretty heinous crimes, if you can believe a man who is known professionally by the name Young Thug is involved in criminal activity. Recently, it's been announced that his lyrics will now be admissible in court as evidence of his wrongdoing. And I'm sure that's going to aid greatly in the judiciary process. Young Thug and his entire organization or label has been hit with the RICO. RICOs, if you know anything about them, they don't just throw them out willy-nilly, okay? If you get hit with the RICO, you did it. Other people that have famously been hit with RICOs include DJ Envy, who's currently battling one right now. Who's always smiling. Every time you see that bald bastard, he has a very smug expression on his face. You could tell him that everyone he's ever loved and known in his entire life has been brutally murdered, and he'd probably still have that same expression on his face. I don't know. Actually, no, I do know why he's smiling. Because he made millions of dollars off of dozens, probably hundreds of black and brown people who put their trust in him and genuinely wanted to make something of themselves and buy a home. What morons. Dangling the prospect of a better life in front of marginalized communities? It's like stealing candy from a baby. A black one. RICOs are given to people that they know, which, by the way, I think is very fascinating. RICOs are very fascinating to me because I just imagine family members grieving over the loss of their loved one. Another young black man murdered senselessly in the streets, and they're just wailing, "Oh my God, where are the cops when you need them?" And I just imagine a cop being like, "No, yeah, we knew about it. We know, we got the call, we had the details, the plan, we knew the entire schedule. In fact, we were actually across the street watching your son take his last breath. We actually watched it in these comedically large binoculars. We got them off Amazon." But I'm not here to discuss the morality of the American justice system. We know that's a tried and true system. Nor am I here to discuss the possibility of Young Thug's innocence. He did it. Like, you know what I'm here to discuss justice itself. So, Judge, Your Honor, if you would allow me this time to speak to you from the heart, I speak on behalf of Jeffrey Lamar Williams himself, as well as the entirety of his his label. So let's talk about justice. When you think of justice, what do you think about? We have a symbol of justice in America, and it's a lady holding out scales, and the scales are imbalanced. Someone does something wrong, and that action must be corrected. The scales must be equal. And this is the crux of the American judicial system. Someone does something wrong, they are treated accordingly. Every time, without fail, it's a tried and true system that every single person, regardless of socioeconomic class or race, is a part of, fully and unabashedly. So we have to remember our goal in this Young Thug case is to balance the scales. It's not punishment, it's to balance the scales. So Young Thug's wrong. He's being accused of being a gang leader, being a ruthless murderer, ordering other people to murder other people and knowing about it, while living a luxurious life and enjoying the spoils of wealth and success and whatever, what have you. So that's his wrong. So now our goal is to balance the scales. And to that, I raise you, have you heard this song? Now, listen, I'm not trying to be funny. I know it's a common thing to, whenever an artist, beats people, fucks kids, to be like, "Oh, well, have you heard Ignition?" That's not what I'm trying to do. However, Wyclef Jean by Young Thug is one of the most fun songs ever recorded. And with that, I make a grander point. Number one, being able to make a song that fun is a testament to his innocence. I mean, I can't imagine a brutal murderer being able to make a song with such unfiltered, positive energy. And if a murderer can murder people and go into the studio and make a song that will make literally everyone smile, I think that's a level of duality that I think we need to appreciate as a culture. That's Young Thug's contribution to the scale. He's made plenty of people happy with that song alone, and his music in general. I already can tell what you're going to say, Your Honor. The murder of even one person kind of negates his contributions to music as a whole. And I completely hear you, and to that I raise you Young Thug's verse on Remote Control by Kanye West. Although it is very unfortunate, his ties to criminal syndicates, his boundary pushing verse on that song really does bring a tear to my eye every time I hear it. And I honestly think, in the grand scheme of things, it is worth at least 2 human lives. I'm not an unreasonable man. I know that my ask and my evidence are a bit of a stretch. So I will give you another option, and I think this one will work best for everybody. Since at the end of the day, all we really want is just put another black man in jail, I think I can give you a few options of other black men that you can put in prison, because at the end of the day, I can't tell the difference between any of those. Number 1 being Chris Brown. Okay, Chris Brown, just the uttering of that guy's name comes with an entire argument. You get the smelliest and ugliest people in your life talking to you, and that just makes you sick already. That makes you hate Chris Brown already. Women who would do anything for male validation, and men who would do anything for male validation. And then that one uncle that your family has to lock up in a cage at night after 9 p.m. Chris Brown did this, Chris Brown did that. And don't get me wrong, he did all of that shit. However, that's not even what I'm talking about. Chris Brown is a terrible, narcissistic, violent, abusive piece of shit. But why he should really be locked up is his music. As Americans, as people in the world, we have gone through a terrible last 3 years, okay? It's been disaster after disaster. So now that the world is opening back up in full, I really value the entertainers and people that keep our minds not filled with existential dread, the fact that living is impossible now, there's a genocide going on, all the people that make the things that I can jam into my eyeballs and my eardrums to make the disgusting brutality of the world around me quiet. I have all the respect in the world for you. And on the other hand, I have an insane amount of hatred for people who take that almost vulnerable desire and piss on it. I went to Barbenheimer in July. I said it like I went to Coachella. When we were in Oppenheimer, there was a trailer for the Exorcist, the Believer Exorcist, the Exorcist Believer, or I don't care. I'm never gonna watch that. And I was sitting watching this trailer, and I love watching trailers, and this was the worst trailer I have ever seen in my life, and I was very, very confused, because trailers are supposed to be good. There is plenty of terrible movies with amazing like a trailer is made to make you want to watch the movie. But here I am watching a trailer that is basically pleading like, please do not watch our movie. So you have no respect for me at all. And rightfully so, because a lot of you guys went and watched the film. You're basically being like, I'm going to make the worst thing ever, and you're probably going to watch it anyway. I think that's disrespectful. Now, Chris Brown does that. Chris Brown takes that and he blows it out of the stratosphere. This man releases 2-3 hour long albums with 25, 30, 40 songs on them. There's plenty of things that Chris Brown should be put to death for, but I think number 1 on that list, or actually maybe not number 1, is putting out an album with 57 songs on it. He put out a deluxe of a deluxe of a deluxe. Who is listening to this? And even worse, every single one of those songs has streams. So clearly the problem is with some of you, and some of you actually should be rotting in jail with Young Thug, because, okay, sure, Young Thug is murdering people, but the longest album I've ever listened to in one sitting was Donda, and that took my whole day. Speaking of people that should go to jail, Kanye West is the definition of the American dream. A poor kid in Chicago, people said, hey, you can't produce. He went and he managed to produce for some of the biggest artists in Chicago and in rap music. Then he was like, I want to rap, and it was like, no, you can't rap. Became one of the biggest rappers in the entire world, in music history. He got into a car accident by like every single law of gravity should have killed him, and not only did he survive it, he rapped his first song in it with the metal wire in his mouth. He got up on stage, interrupting one of the world's most beloved musicians, and basically told them, you don't deserve your success, see you later, and kept his career. He dropped an amazing album after that, his magnum opus to many, not to me. By all means, you should have stopped after that. Your career, you're not going to go up after that. You have album of the year, basically. Album of the decade, and the decade just started. He comes back, and the first song on this album sounds like this. Then he was like, forget everything I've ever said. I'm going to become the most successful fashion designer in the world. And everyone was like, what are you talking about? And in like 3 years, he did. He manifested his dream. He married Kim Kardashian. He worked himself to a point in his career where he could do anything he wants, say anything he wants, and he'll still maintain his success, celebrity, and acclaim. This is a man who hangs out with world leaders in 1 hour and Future and Metro Boomin in the next. He and Kim Kardashian walked into the White House and asked Donald Trump to do something, and he did it. You have everything you want. You have a beautiful wife, beautiful family, billionaire. You have all of that. And you throw it away to hang out with Sneeko. You gotta go to jail. Like, there's no... Dude, you should not know who Sneeko is. Once you reach a certain tax bracket, there's certain people you should not know who they are. Another person that should go to jail, Trevor Jackson. I don't like his face, and when he sings, he looks like a weird mix of like an orgasm and giving birth and some kind of like psychosexual demonic possession. It really freaks me out. Hoteps, Black Israelites, and conspiracy theorists also must go to jail. There was like a 2-month period last year when Ye was going on his loony tirade about how much he loved Adolf Hitler, in which I was seeing, no irony, no sarcasm, black people looking into cameras and saying that Adolf Hitler was on our side. You've got to go. Like, you're useless to society. You're pointless. Just become a part of the prison industrial complex. Make my furniture for me. Like, you got no black people talking about we're the real Jews. Well, that means that he would have wanted to kill us too, doesn't it? Hitler was a fan of us. Hitler knew our power. You know how many times I've seen that online? Hitler knew our power. Thank you. I don't know why you're so adamant on getting a compliment from Hitler. I really don't. I feel like there's many other people you can get reaffirmed of your blackness by than Adolf Hitler. But you know, that's just me. So that's why Young Thug should be free. Please smash like. I feel as though that with this video I did an excellent job presenting my case. And Jeffrey Lamar Williams will be back very soon. I wonder if DJ Envy is smiling in jail. He's probably in jail. Like, there's probably a guard. I just imagine a guard, like, screaming at him, like being super verbally abusive to him. And he's just staring at him with this, like, goofy, like, doe-eyed smile. And you know what? Even if you don't use any of my evidence or my points in your court case, we all know that the American justice system is a foolproof system with a 100% accuracy rate. So thank you, Your Honor, for watching. I really think that if you take my words into consideration, that, you know, the best outcome for everyone will happen. For what it's worth, I don't like Young Thug's verse on Parade on Cleveland, but I think Drake did absolutely body that verse. I'm not sure how that's relevant when we're discussing the murder of black men as a result of a criminal syndicate. But I think that we can factor that into the final decision somehow.